X11 starting to really lose those all-important lifelines as they approach day 2. So going to be really desperate to win this one, I think. And it's looking like a good start from Ludger here, who's got those dragon cards that have been around for oh so long and have been a classic part and repertoire of the Dragon Link arsenal, still running those rocket monsters.
You're a big fan of this deck, Nadir, right? I've seen you picked it up yourself, playing with it.
I've played it through all of its iterations, from Halka Fibrax and Smoke Grenade, all the way down to where we are now with
I don't know.
no more.
It seems like Ludger is a little nervous because he just drew 6 cards for his opening hand, which is, of course, not the number of cards he was supposed to have there. Because in the end, who did even win the die roll? I think Lucas actually did end up winning, right? Yeah, Lucas did win.
Maybe not. Lucas looks... Yeah, Lucas is about to...
Yeah, Lucas is indeed about to start, and he's getting mad in love as he's summoning Dr. Madlove there. First Vanquish Soul card, which is going to grab him a Spell or Trap card from the archetype.
I think as a starting card for Lucas, it's probably quite a long way down the list of what you want to start with, right? Because he's got all of his super heavy samurai cards, so there are 6 possible kind of starters for that, being the 3 motorbikes and the 3 Wakauchis. And he's also got 3 Soul Rasen, which again is kind of preferable to opening up with the Mad Love. So this is like, yeah, starter number 7 in order.
Yeah, you
maybe.
really need the Rasen. Access to Rasen is crucial for Vanquish Soul, and there wasn't any, and therefore he's just passing it over after searching out the Dust Devil, probably setting that card. And now Lucas immediately going for the Book of Moon effect of the Dust Devil there to book that safer. But I can tell you, Dragon Link, since the beginning of days, has been playing through 1 or 2 interruptions with ease, so I would not be surprised if he can do it here again.
Yeah, there's a lot of way to extend in Dragon Link, from Quick Launch to Chaos Space, although now limited. There's a lot of just other cards that work really well here. We can see from his hand he's actually got...
nothing.
Oh.
Yeah, neither. They look like Chaos Space, but it's not actually Chaos Space.
That is so untypical for the Dragon Link strategy. That 1 Book of Moon was enough to completely shut him down there.
I feel like now with the limit to Chaos Space, it can happen a lot more frequently, especially if your opponent doesn't give you any lights or darks in the graveyard.
You really do notice it as you play the deck, because very slowly and consistently over like multiple years now, the deck has been losing ways to actually start the engine. And, you know, 2 more Chaos Space, don't forget Magnamut as well now at 2. Just less and less ways to really help you extend. So looks like we're going to go for the Link 1 here, one of the strongest cards in the archetype. I mean, Link 1s in general feed really well into the strategy.
Yeah, but it is Rock of the Vanquisher, and that immediately is going to use its effect to add that Dr. Madlove back to the hand of Lucas. So, still no light or dark monsters there in the graveyard, right?
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the less fortunate aspects of running Bestials. They're quite around throughout all of the metagame, but in this deck and this archetype, not too common to have darks in the graveyard often, especially when you're recycling with the Rock.
But, I mean, that looked like a pretty desperate play, didn't it? I think in Ludger's hand, he has 1 Bestial. I would have definitely considered to go after that Dr. Madlove there, because that would have left Lucas with only the Rock of the Vanquisher on the field. And now he has the 2 monsters, and he also gets to add back the Continue for the first time here.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Has he got a Bestial in his
hand?
Yeah,
he got a
Druisworm, yeah. A big downside, again, of not starting with the super heavy Samurai engine is now none of the cards really work the way you want to, because you've already put a spell in your graveyard. So I can see the Soul Piercer in the hand of Lucas, and fetching a super heavy Samurai cards now feels like it isn't really going to achieve much.
Ooh, but it seems like we are now ourselves going to use Bestials, and therefore it pays off for Ludger to hold his own Druisworm, because that will deny Lucas access to his Magnamut, and now again there are no lights or darks in the graveyard anymore, so that Magnamut is not going to be able to use its effect soon.
It's really interesting that he chose to hold it. You know, I was thinking, is this like a misstep or something? But good chance maybe he was playing around something like Thrust or Talents, and it actually paid off as we were able to dodge the opponent's Magnamut.
Ooh, and immediately now he has a monster on the field to use Shadow's Light, and honestly that is not a very, very popular card in the deck, but it has been a recent addition to the deck with Battle of Legends, Monstrous Revenge, and therefore we do activate it. Oh, that's... Okay, we are chaining the effect of Dr. Madlove, though.
And it's just going to go straight back to the hand.
Indeed.
Shadow's Light not going to resolve?
We will have to double read on Shadow's Light, but it seems
Yeah,
like
it's,
that's the case.
it specials a light from the deck actually with the same original type and level, so if you don't have one on the field, then I guess it would just resolve without effect there.
Totally. So we also get to Ash v Talons, which was meant to draw cards and therefore is being met with the Ash Blossom, but there has been normal summon of the Tracer now, so this time it looks like Ludger has some more potential to extend here at least.
What? Yeah, you can't use the second copy of Shadow's Light, I don't think. So, what's the plan?
I mean, we also probably have access to Boot Sector launch, so maybe go into Striker Dragon, summon back the Rocket Tracer, go into Romulus, search
there's
ourselves a Dragon Ravine.
Magnamut as well, though, that's the thing.
Oh, you're
So
right,
we have
yeah.
we managed to get our Druis Worm back as well, so we're going to see some deja vu.
So, ooh, we just used the effect of Tracer, destroyed itself to bring out the Caliber, so that also, of course, would end up having bringing 2 monsters to the field, but one of them then is not a Striker Dragon anymore in that scenario.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, he's already drawn the Boot Sector launch, so there's much
Oh, he
less
has
of
it
a
already,
reason
I see.
to make the Striker Dragon.
You're right, you're right.
So maybe we're going to see a Boot Sector and then try and interrupt it with a Magnamut and then the Druis Worm.
So there is the Boot Sector. And Lucas, is he going to respond to it? I think there is no point in responding right away, but as soon as he uses the effect, it seems like a worthy Magnamut.
Oh, definitely.
Or Druis Worm.
Well, it's going to be both.
So,
Magnamut activates in the hand, targeting the Rocket Tracer. We chain our own Druid's Worm, and it looks like we're going to have a bit of a bestial fight
yeah,
here.
1, 2, 3, all the bestials in the house, but the one from Lucas is going to end up resolving, banishing the Tracer ultimately, and I think Ludger from there on cannot really do anything anymore.
Yeah, he's not really opened that well. You know, there's not a lot of power spells or extenders there, like the quick launch and stuff. So it looks like he's going to go into the battle phase and attack over the rock, but protection is utilized.
Yeah, you can't attack Rock with the Vanquisher while you control. I think while you control a Vanquish Soul or something like that.
It says, your opponent's monster can only target monsters you control with the highest attack. So he would only be able to attack the Druis Worm.
Oh, there we go.
All right, this is the most important part of the engine here. Raisin has been picked up.
Finally, the Raisin is there. This is the heart and soul of the Vanquish Soul deck, and he really finally, even though it's already a good position for him, finally gets this card onto the field.
Yeah, we've got the Vanquish Soul cards, but next we'll get the Vanquish Hearts.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe the Vanquish Heart cards are actually the super heavy cards. Maybe they have super heavy hearts. You don't know, right?
Do you think he's already shown a super heavy card, so I don't think he'll mind showing another one here.
Okay, now the Raisin effect going to reveal a fire monster and a dark monster, destroying the Rocket Caliber.
Yeah, so I think what we might see here is just the special summon of the Magnamut as well on our own turn, and then you just have enough damage here to...
Well, that Druis Worm is still in the hand.
It absolutely is.
This is going to happen again and again. And there's not really any way you can organize this so that your Magnamut beats their Druis Worm, because it's not a quick effect.
The thing is, we have Dr. Madlove on the field, which is also a quick effect. So as soon as he summons out the Druis Worm, we can then just take care of it with the Dr. Madlove if we have the requiring attributes in our hand to reveal. And I think we have plenty of those at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a big fistful of monsters.
There's
So
also
maybe
the potential if he summons his own Druid's Worm, maybe we can go into some sort of Chaos Angel play.
I think if you just activate the Magnamut now, and then that should force out your opponent's Druis Worm, and as Basti suggested, then you can just bounce it back to your opponent's hand.
Yeah, a lot of different ways to address this. Vanquish Soul actually proving itself to be quite a versatile deck. You know, you can incorporate so many different engines. We can see here, obviously, Bestial's putting in a lot of work, specifically against Dragon Link, but there's also the Super Heavies, a main portion of this deck here.
Okay, so now finally also for Ludger, there is going to be a dragon resolving. We are immediately going to bounce it back to the hand, and I think that's a lot of damage on the field. Ooh, the Valius, is it going to stay on the field or not?
Yeah, you've got to be careful here, because the Madlove bounces whichever monster has the highest defense points. So I'm not sure of the defense of Soul Valius, but maybe it's too much?
So return one monster with the lowest defense on the field to the hand.
That's not Druis Worm, that's Soul Valius.
That's pretty interesting, man.
Well, we get to reveal for 3 effects this time.
Maybe Soul Valius is going to pop itself.
Dr. Madlove. Druis Worm. What are we end up doing here? We kind of played into our own trap there. So, okay, we are going to end up destroying the Druid Swarm. That will trigger its effect, though, going after the Druid Swarm as well. So, I think Lucas is losing access to ending the game here this turn.
Yeah, he has still got the continue in his graveyard, but I don't think there's any way. That summons a monster in defense mode, which is not so helpful when you want to attack your opponent.
Yeah, also currently there are no Vanquish Soul monsters in the graveyard, right? But if we end up giving Ludger another turn and...
Do we not already
Yeah, we already normal summon the Raz. I don't know if we used the effect of Rock. Yeah.
Okay, so now there is V-Raisin.
Looks like it's going to be a measly 3,000.
We could also have the option to go into a rank 4 here, now that we have the Mad Love and the Raisin there. And I mean, looking through his list, I see there's, for example, the Battling Boxer King Dempsey. I don't know, that's probably like the connection point of the Super Heavy Samurai and the Vanquish Soul stuff. Don't know whether you want to get into your Super Heavy Samurai stuff right now, though. But we also, of course, can go for Springen's Merrymaker, which is being summoned here, which might as well be the way to get into our gigantic champion Sagas. And that, and of course, is going to add ourselves the Furion King Regulus to our hands.
So as you mentioned the Dempsey before. That's a great way to make use of your Super Heavy Samurai engine. But also, if you already have the Soul Rasen, then you can go ahead and add a Therion King Regulus this way.
Okay, and I mean, that combo from Merrymaker into Sagas into the Regulus is not only giving you the Regulus, but also it's giving you potential Zeus with 4 materials, which is just huge, and there he is.
The connection of this deck between all the various archetypes it has is honestly quite phenomenal. I'm really impressed with just how much this thing synergizes into various other archetypes. Bestials, Springans for the Machine, and the Regulus, the Therion. The deck works out really quite well.
Yeah, I like it as well, for sure. I think the main downside though is if you only draw like one part of them. If you like have one Vanquish Soul and then like only Dark Monsters or something, you just don't get to combine them very well. But if you have multiple engines available, it's just outstanding for sure. But that is also an outstanding top deck there from Ludger, picking up the quick launch. But still, he's staring down that 4-material Zeus, which is also quite amazing.
And the Magnamut, which has been in the hand since the beginning of time. At this point, it's had a good day in his hand.
Absolutely. So Tracer back to the field, numero dos.
I think he just activated the... Yeah, he's going to go and summon out another monster from the main deck. Here is it time for Recharger, perhaps?
Probably. Should be his only target left there at this point, and there it is, Rocket Recharger.
Do love the audacity to summon it in attack mode.
Yeah, it is quite fun, isn't it? I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference.
Probably
yeah,
not.
He's quite behind here, especially drawing multiple cards like Shadow's Light is not really what you want to see.
Is this legal to activate Rock with the Vanquisher when you don't have a monster in your graveyard?
Let's check. Let's read up on the Rock with the
seems
Vanquisher
very
again.
suspicious.
So,
Suspicious,
I mean, you can special summon one from your hand. Probably that's the effect you're going to activate here, right?
Maybe that's the effect he activated, yeah.
Yeah, chaining the Zeus, and then on resolution you'll be able to get the monster out of your hand here, and then get a trigger effect off the Raisin.
Okay, that makes
Seems
me
about
less
right.
suspicious. And he definitely had one in his hand, being the Caesar.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So that also takes care, of course, of the entire field that Ludger has, and I think the last card in Ludger's hand is just going to be the Shadow's Light, which is not going to be able to turn around. And
people are prepared for it. People are knowledgeable of its interactions, its key choke points. Whereas something like Vanquish Soul, while we have seen it in and out of success over the last couple of months, it's still maybe sort of always just been in the precipice of the meta, you know, sort of on the outskirts. And I think that for that reason, will Ludger be able to identify those key points of interaction for the deck? Will he know what the best cards are in his side deck? You know, I would assume if you're preparing your side deck for a YCS like this, you're probably not going to be familiar with your exact patterns and key cards you'd be bringing in against, you know, the 11th best deck or something, right?
Yeah, that's a fair point, because I feel like Vanquish Soul is quite far down. You've got a lot of decks to prepare for.
I mean, it made top 8 at the World Championship, guys. Please keep it up for Vanquish Soul. It's not that bad.
Well, Dragon Link got first. So.
That's true. That's true, for sure. But, I mean, looking at the side deck of Lucas as well, like, he seems to be pretty well prepared for the Dragon Link matchup, because I see a Dragon which is very powerful against the deck, which is Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, which is kind of having a comeback lately. It's pretty good versus Unchained. It's also decently well against Rescue Ace, and it's also decent versus the good old Dragon Link deck. of course. Are we just going to throw it onto the first Link summon here? Because I think I spotted this Lucas opening hand here.
I think it depends on how risky you want to be, right? Because you can get a lot of value once you establish, something like Romulus, Pisty. But I don't know if you want to wait that long, and it looks like Lucas is not going to let it get that far.
And I mean, we have other good cards to draw into, because in the side deck of Lucas, there's also Nibiru, which is a super powerful card, of course. And we saw the Bestials already in his main deck, so you definitely also want to draw into those.
It's one of the coolest advantage of Phantasme ever since it was first released around about 2019, I want to say. Being able to cycle and fix your hand so that you can, take out the cards that maybe aren't so good going second, or try and draw into more disruption. Really powerful card, and also a little bonus effect on the field as well for targeting protection.
Yeah. I'm curious about it, because it's a card you kind of always love to have and activate. It just kind of feels good. But I feel like now, Thrust and Talents are so popular. I'm curious about including it, because I feel like it's a good card, and it's definitely like going to help you win, and it's going to help you fix your hand a bit, but it's not a hugely impactful hand trap. It's not like a Nibiru, where if you resolve Nibiru, you're going to have a massive impact on the game, so maybe you think it's worth giving up the opportunity.
Question,
Thrust.
do you like something like Ash these days?
Ash can be very, very impactful, though, against cards like Branded Fusion and Pot of Prosperity and so on.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the trade-off you take in this kind of format, right? Like with something like Thrust and Talents being such impactful cards, it always feels kind of scary to just play hand traps in your deck that aren't super impactful. Ooh. Oh, this is a really important... okay, all right.
My! We are just going Bestial after Bestial again.
So I was about to mention one of the downsides of Bestials here is that because you're giving your opponent a monster that, because you control a monster, now you've turned on the quick effect of the Bestials in the Dragon Link matchup, so actually working out kind of poorly there for Ludger.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's another downside already of the Phantasm.
Yeah, but this is definitely a good card to continue here for Ludger, because he has access to the baby dragons. There is the White Dragon, and that is definitely going to be a starter here for sure, going into the Pisty and probably going to link up into Romulus and potentially even more than.
I like the way that Lucas is kind of staking himself as the dragon player here, because he's got more dragons in play than Ludger on his first turn.
Mathematically accurate at this point in time.
Yeah, but I think he will get there. I think Ludger will catch up, honestly. And I mean, look, there's already a pretty big dragon, so at least there's the biggest dragon now on the field of Ludger for now.
You know what I'd really like to see? I'm pretty sure you can summon from your hand with Red MD, so maybe summoning out that Bestial Magnum, getting a search, and then you can summon the Lubellion.
But having the Magnamut as an interruption in your hand is also pretty valuable.
Yeah, but it will search a Druswell or whatever. That's another...
Yeah, it just sort of replaces itself.
Fair.
I do quite like that. But yeah, we're going to continue with the Lubellion effect. We haven't seen too much of Lubellion this weekend, but started turning into a bit of a classic engine at this point for Dragon Link. The Regained by itself can just generate so much advantage.
Oh, there's the Romulus. So for second up forward, are we just going to do good old Seal's Pass? But we have so far decided against it, but maybe we're still ending up in that position. It's still possible.
It's so rare to see it, because I think whenever you can make a Seal, you can make a Romulus and go a little bit further with Dragon Ravine.
True, for
Still have a lot of gas in the tank here, because we can just discard the Magnamut, and then the Regained on the opponent's turn can bring it back. But
yes,
actually Ludger choosing to just hold it for the opponent's turn.
So we are... Oh, we're sending the Levian here. And I mean, there already is a Cypher in the graveyard since we started with that. So I think Ludger, he even has two options here, because he might as well destroy the Magnamut and the Phantasma on the field, as they are quite scary. They're quite big.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing as well is that if you leave bodies up, it threatens your Seals, because it's so weak in terms of its attack. So you can kind of just go battle phase and force it out. But yeah, I quite like that idea of just clearing the field and setting up the Seals after.
Yeah, so we also, of course, now get to trigger the Regain, draw another card, and I think I saw a Noctovision Dragon, which has not been super popular anymore lately, but it's still a super strong card, which makes you draw into more cards later on. If you get to summon it, though. Does he even have a way to summon out another Dark Dragon there? Oh, okay, I mean, that's a Dark Monster at least, with the Dark.
Oh, are you seeing what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
That Magnamut is being destroyed and coming back.
Yep.
As a kind of zombie.
On the wrong side of the field.
I love this. So that's a Light Monster, that's a Dark Monster, and another Dark Monster. So we are going to destroy, and we don't even need to use our own Magnamut when we can just use the opponent's one. Look, that Magnamut now in the graveyard, but not for long as Ludger wants to have it.
This Dragon deck just keeps on going. It's a gift that keeps on giving.
I think sometimes you can see just the difference between game 1 and game 2, right? Like that's kind of how Dragon Link sometimes ends up. You either have everything or you lose to a single disruption, like a Book of Moon.
I think, yeah, just getting that first card in play into the graveyard is so valuable.
So we keep
Triple
on linking.
burst?
There's
Okay.
triple burst. And do we finally... Yeah, there he is, the Noctovision Dragon.
Okay, so we do get Boral End at an absolute minimum, unless we do want to really focus on the Seals. And I do think Seals is just a really strong card against Vanquish Souls.
Borderland is a pretty good card overall too, though. I think
Yeah.
Did
For sure.
we end up with any rockets in graveyard?
that's the question, right? I think there aren't any.
Oh yeah, no, that you're right.
I kind of wanted to like reach out my hand and
Ooh.
open Lucas' graveyard to check if there was a
We
rocket.
can't
I
negate
can't
now.
remember.
Yeah. Okay, so we do draw with the Nocto.
I mean, he might have one. I'm not sure.
He's got a recharger in the hand, I suppose. Did we top deck that, or he must have
Yeah,
already
he
had it?
drew
Otherwise,
that. I think he's going
Off the
to his end
Nocto?
phase
We're going
now,
end
yeah.
phase for Druisworm, so I don't know how much that Boral and Dragon there is going to do. So now both basically simultaneously going into the deck, resolving their Magnamuts, which were both Lucas Magnamuts basically, but still they are going to end up searching on the one hand a Druisworm, and for Lucas we're going to grab the Valius, which to me totally does not look like a dragon, but in fact is a dragon.
And the Boral End, remind me, is it can't be targeted by monster effects?
targeted or destroyed by...
Or destroyed.
Yeah, it's really strong.
Because
Loses to an Imperm though, potentially off
yeah,
the
but
top.
Lucas's deck is, I mean, he's running the Superheavy Samurai engine, so there's a ton of monsters in his deck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
there's hardly any.
The thing I'm worried about though is like Ludger just doesn't have a negate on this Boral End. It's just a large monster, and I guess he's gonna try and just draw with
look,
regain.
he's smiling into the camera. I think he just realized while Lucas was looking through his graveyard that there is no rocket monster in there.
Let's see if he can actually pick that up and notice and take advantage of it. I'm sure that's kind of what he was looking for there, and that's a good start.
There is this time the good Super Heavy Samurai card. It's the Kaushi, the one and only. It's going to activate its effect to special summon itself to the field. And I think we're going to activate Big Bankai. There he is.
Yeah, he's got these powerful cards like Boral End and Regain, but Graveyard just not quite set up to make use of them at the moment.
True, not even the Magnamut is in the graveyard now, so that Branded Regained Reborn effect is not that powerful.
This is why I feel like I would have preferred to go with the line of Dragon Ravine discarding the Magnamut that was resolved without effect because of the opponent's Magnamut.
Yeah.
And then in that sense, you can send the Absolutor, and then that gives you Tracer access. And then you'd be able to end on a Boral End with an actual negate. So I feel like that may have been a better option for Ludger, but we're here now, and we're just going to have to see how well we can contend with a Boral End untargetable, indestructible monster by card effects.
Yeah, it's always it's difficult to like not just go for it. I think sometimes your eyes just light up when you realize you can take your opponent's Magnamut. It's just such a fun thing to do, isn't
so
it?
good. It looked so promising for sure. So we do end up searching the Soul Gaia booster through the Big Bankai. Then we equipped it and we specialed it to the field, so we now have 2 level 4 monsters, and one of them is a tuner. So if we want to go for Synchro 8 here, we are totally capable of doing that. It would, for example, be a Psy Framelord Omega. Haven't seen that one in a while. And the other option would be Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon, which doesn't look too promising because there's no level 2 available to him.
I'm just looking at the extra deck for Lucas. What deals with the Boral End?
Zeus potentially?
Yeah, it's a Zeus, but there's no way to attack with an XYZ and have it survive, right?
I mean,
But even so, Zeus feels very unpleasant. Like,
yeah, I agree.
You have to give up your whole field. I'm curious. What is?
I'm not sure how Lucas is dealing with this because he's not certain himself the way he's been handling these cards. He sort of fanned out the Axel and then decided that no, we're actually not going to overlay, and then now it looks like we're separating the cards again.
And we are looking for Phoenix, and that Phoenix could even be co-linked.
It is very cool, yeah, to have a nice Colin monster.
There it goes.
Does he play Underworld?
That's the wrong way around. I don't think Bakaushi wants to go to the graveyard there.
No, there's no Underworld Goddess. Yeah, that was a nice call, though, because that's a card that's been picking up in popularity a lot, specifically, I think, to deal with Ex-Pearly Noir. And I guess as a side effect, Boral Savage.
Honestly, I think Zeus might be the only option he has. And
How do you
that's
Zeus though when you're like your Xyz monster is just gonna die, right?
Yeah, so you would have to have a way to go into an Xyz and then go into another Xyz. And I mean, the Vakaushi was free, so we have not even normal summoned so far. So I think there's a way, but we just gave up 2 of our level 4 monsters for a Nightmare Phoenix, so I don't really know whether we can still get there.
Does Dempsey have any protection? I feel like some of the battle-in boxer effects... Oh, we're just coming over here.
To the table, so seems like we have figured out everything, and that Phoenix still ended up on the field.
Yeah, so not being forced to commit to the Xyz summon as they did initially, go for that Link. And yeah, they're going to destroy the regained.
And we draw a card. Ooh, I think we picked up Rysard there, which is nice because it's an additional level 4 monster, which could end up in a way to Zeus, but... Oh, wait, like... If we have Nightmare Phoenix on the field...
Only your Colic monsters.
Only Colic monsters you control can't be destroyed by battle.
Yeah, might protect things from being destroyed by battle.
We'll have Link Xyz monsters soon, don't worry.
What, you mean like Sprite Gigantic?
Yeah, true, there's one, basically.
But can you co-link him?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, stake your soul, everyone! We are revealing a fire monster, which we just have drawn with the Kashtira Rysard, and we are going to search through this into our probably just Raisin, I would think.
I mean, none of the Vanquish Soul monsters target your opponent's monsters, but the only one, they either destroy them or try and bounce the monster with the lowest defense, but Boral Savage Boral End even does not have any defense points, so you could try and argue that it's got the lowest defense, but
it's
I'm
got
not
4
sure,
defense.
I'm not sure a judge would back you up.
It doesn't have... No, sorry. My joke didn't even work there. It's got 5 defense.
Okay, so Dr. Madlov coming onto the field now. Previously searched by the Raisin. So there's more and more monsters coming to the field. And I think like now we are at the situation where we could have gone for a Zeus line. Because we had the option to go for rank 4 in main 1. And then now there was also 2 more level 4 monsters. So that would have worked, but now it doesn't anymore. On the other hand, I think we drew into the Rysard through the draw effect of Nightmare Phoenix. Therefore, maybe we didn't even have that option before. So I don't think we can blame Lucas really here so far.
I like that. It's quite an uncommon thing to do, so maybe you don't think of it immediately, but I like your suggestion there, yeah. So you can make one rank 4, attack with it, and then make another rank 4 later, and then level that up into a Zeus, because usually every time you think of just... overlaying over the monster that battle, but it doesn't actually care which monster battle. It just cares
and I mean,
annex
we saw such a powerful line by Lucas there in game 1, right? He even has the option to go Merrymaker, Sagas, search out Irregulars, and then go Zeus. So like, he would have gotten still so much value out of that. So I think I would have really liked it overall.
I feel like he's definitely sort of crumbling under the pressure here, realizing that he's in such a commanding position because there's no regained available to special summon. The Boral End doesn't have a negate. So realistically, if he can just out Boral End, he's kind of got this one in the bag. But it seems like we may have potentially done a bit of a misstep here as we're just kind of struggling to deal with this Boral End, just putting guys on the field, which admittedly isn't too bad in and of itself. I mean, it's hard to suggest that someone can out-advantage dragons, but it looks like Lucas is doing a decent job of it.
Well, I mean, Boral End will make short work of these guys, right? It can attack all of your opponent's monsters.
Yeah, it can. All right.
I mean... That works, we can actually attack, but the big problem is like Boral End can just not be destroyed by battle. So yeah, you can try, but it ends up not getting you anywhere, and I think we're
Lucas
packing
has just
up,
scooped it
right?
Fist bump, nice sportsmanship as we round out the end of another YCS day 1.
Oh yeah. New season, off to a good start. Let's see whether it still is going to be a good start for Lucas here.
Well, that's a beautiful start for Lucas.
Oh, the Kaushi once again. Lovely, lovely.
I can also see a copy of Stake Your Soul in hand as well.
Is he going to stake his soul again?
He's
That's a pretty high stake at this point. Like double staking your soul, that's pretty heavy. Super heavy, I could say.
Oh, please stop.
I thought Leo wasn't here. You know?
I kind of took some classes by him. So, now this time we can search out the Soul Piercer, also summoning it out.
Okay, actually not going to overlay instead. Looking like that Omega might be the one we're going for here.
Oh yes, it is indeed. Has been a while since I saw this card. Definitely haven't seen it yet today. But we are also, of course, going to activate the Vakaushi back into the Pendulum Scale. So we might even see some Pendulum summoning here.
Oh, that's cool, actually. I hadn't really thought of Pendulum summoning the
Vanquish Souls.
The Vanquish Souls. Yeah, I was wondering. I was kind of, my brain was just whirring for a second there because I was like, don't you normally not have to use the normal summon when you do this, you know, the play off of Super Heavy Samurais? But I guess in this case he decided he would rather get his Pendulum Scale set up and get an extra search than keep the normal summon.
Yeah.
Question is, does he have a Vanquish Soul to be able to actually access the rock?
Yeah, that's the
keep
thing.
going?
He definitely has Stake Your Soul in his hand, so he'd just need a Fire Monster and then he's good to go. But if he didn't have it, then like almost certainly he would have made Battle Boxer Dempsey rather than Omega, right? So
I agree. So there comes the Omega. What is he going to get out of the hand there? The cool thing with Omega is both players will see and know what that was, and that was a Noctovision here, which is not going to be in the hand of Ludger anymore.
Pretty strong card to have as an extender when you actually manage to stick a dragon, but that's the problem. It's looking quite hard, I think, based on Ludger's hand, if he's going to be able to stick one here. Oh, no, we do have a Fire Monster, and it's Verizard, so I think we're far away from being done here. I think there's still way more things to happen. Raisin coming down, of course. I think we're going to see the full combo, shall we say, of what you really want to try and do with this deck here. Omega ripping a card, we've got access to the Vanquish Souls, and the Super Heavy Samurais bridging that gap really nicely as well. I mean, we don't even need to lock ourselves into Exceed monsters here, because we can just Pendulum summon out the Rysart. So there are plenty of ways, I think, here for Lucas to do a whole lot of stuff, honestly.
I'm interested, like, is Omega really the premium thing you can do, like as a Synchro / rank 4?
I mean, once upon a time, there was a card called Magical Dragon. Not in this deck, probably, but yeah. I miss him. Anyway.
But on the other hand, there is Abyss Dweller in his extra deck, which is of course amazing versus all the tier decks running around today, but it's also not bad versus Dragon Link, is it? Yeah, I could have considered using it.
Shuts off a few cards. It's not like super duper, but it's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like Absol Cyphered, Noctovision, which is not even there anymore. So
and the baby dragons.
True, those as well.
So
there are actually quite a few things.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Also Saronir.
It's annoying enough that you'll notice it, I think, if you're playing dragons into a Dweller. So obviously something he would have prepared for the Unchained matchup. Extremely important in that.
Oh, that is a Pendulum Summon now. I think this might be the first Pendulum Summon of the day, actually. And we are summoning out 4 monsters. That is quite the Pendulum Summon there.
First Pendulum Summon of the season.
Yeah, indeed it is.
Am I missing something? Don't the scales of the Super Heavy Samurais go to 4 when you have a spell in your grave? Or is that not all of them have that effect?
So Benkei does not have that effect. Let me check with the good old
Wakaushi.
Wakaushi
Yeah,
as
it
well.
might just be their other effect. Some of them have this effect, but
both of them don't, I can confirm.
Okay, maybe it's another Super Heavy Samurai that has an effect that they all obviously don't want you to have.
I think
a
the
spell
Pendulum
in your
ones
grave.
specifically are the ones that kind of don't really interact with the graveyard, right?
Okay, no,
True,
I think
true.
there are, there's a couple that have this effect.
So this
fortunately
time,
not.
that's another Synchro 8, is it? It is! Is there a
Axel
level 2
Synchron.
monster in the graveyard though?
Yeah, the,
was there the bike?
motorbike. Yeah.
Oh, the bike was in there already, so we do get to summon out a Synchro 10 then later on. Yep, there comes the bike.
Really strong opening here, honestly. Like, this is as good as a combo you can hope to achieve with Vanquish Soul here. We've got the Baron as the Omni Negate. We've looped the card out the hand. We've got Raisin online. This is really, really powerful.
Yeah, I guess we could also make the Merrymaker.
Yeah, true.
Still more to come.
That is just amazing what we're seeing right here. So there is the rank 4. And yeah, it's either Dweller or just the Merrymaker you were talking about. Those are the options that he has here, and I like both of them. And I think I like the Merrymaker even more, honestly.
Well, I was actually going to suggest that I prefer the Dweller, so you have to be the you have to be the tiebreaker here, Tom.
Okay, good call, Tom. Good call. You really saw that one coming. You've got taste.
Yeah, I just saw the, it already.
I mean, you already said it before he was summoning it. So there's Sagas now, of course. Saga is going to add that Regulus. I mean, I can see, though, why you would like the Dweller more, because Dweller does play around cards like Dark Ruler more and stuff like that more. But so like if we're just summoning negate after negate after negate, that is going to be punished pretty hard by Dark Ruler. But looking through all of the decks we've already seen today, I don't think a single person we had in the featured match actually was playing Dark Ruler today.
Yeah, it's not been very popular
Yeah.
despite the fact that it's just such a powerful go second card. But oh, interesting. We've picked up a Pankratops on the top there.
Ooh, that would have been a nice card to Pendulum summon out as well.
This is truly like 101 interruptions from Lucas. They're just showing us the Druisworm in hand as well.
Oh, and also 2 set cards. Let's see, does Ludger have a way to deal with this? But Pankratops is definitely not the worst start ever.
So one of the advantages of Pankratops is that it acts as a sort of 2-for-1 because you can beat over something and then force something out with the tribute effect. But it's a little bit rough here because there's nothing we can actually attack over.
I was going to say, you could beat over something if your opponent's board wasn't huge.
Yeah.
Like everything on the field there is got.
Okay, seems like we are negating with Regulus and then using the Soul Piercer Graveyard effect there.
I think there's a Talents in the hand, so that's going to be step 2 to deal with Baron. And then from there, well, we'll see if there's enough gas in the tank for Ludger.
I mean, it's a good start because we deal with both Omni Negates. Okay, it's
Oh,
quick launch
I was
first.
going to say, I'd really like to deal with the Baron first,
Yeah,
and then you
this
can
is-
take it with Talents.
Fair, fair, very fair point.
And that should, you know, then deal with another card. You can destroy it.
Well, I'm just worried because then your follow-up feels a bit weak here. If you don't get to resolve this quick launch, but it looks like Lucas actually let the quick launch resolve, which means that we can get a light dark in the graveyard.
Ooh, but one very important factor that both players definitely have to have in mind here is the fact that there's only 4 more minutes left in this. So the one that is going to do damage here first is in a pretty good position as he will be in the lead in terms of life points, and that is pretty crucial at this point here.
Ludger is definitely going to do damage with this. What's the name? I've forgotten. Rocket Recharger with its 0 attack. I believe in him.
It looks scary.
I
But it's
really
sure.
do love that both games he summons that thing in attack mode.
Yeah. It's just,
21 defense is just cosmetic.
I've never put it in attack mode in my life, to be honest.
Ever.
it's a power move. It's just a power move by Ludger there.
You know, you can boost it by 300 with the...
Oh, that's
Boot
true,
sector,
actually.
right?
Boot sector, yeah.
Yeah, don't forget. All right, checking the graveyard here to see what kind of bestial line we're going to go with. But first of all, in the order of business, we're going to go Striker Dragon. Does he play Scarlight at all?
He's
He
in his
is
side
siding
deck,
it,
yeah.
and I would assume in a game-free scenario where you're getting closer and closer to time, that this card probably found its way into the extra deck there.
Yeah, so I mean, if we can find a way to not get disrupted enough to the point that we can actually
negated
go
and
for...
destroyed with the Baron de
Ooh.
Fleur. Now that, of course, makes our talents live. But what are we even doing? Do we want to take the Baron? Because from there on, I don't think we can move on a whole lot, but we do decide
Yeah.
to take it.
No, this is really strong, actually. We can force something out with the Baron. We can use the Baby Dragon in the hand.
Oh, we do
and
have a baby dragon?
Yeah, we can summon that Wyver Burster and then keep extending like that, go into Pisty, into a Link 2.
There's a slight misstep here because, well, this is a big misstep because you can just flip up the Baron. And in fact, that gives you the negate back, so...
Oh, you are absolutely right. That would be insanity if he realizes. But yes, you are totally correct there,
Oh,
Tom.
no.
This is just a
Does
classic...
he know,
Ludger
though?
didn't notice.
I feel like this has happened like a million times when you play. You always do it when someone takes your monster and then you book it. You're like, oh, I can't have that, and then they just
Yeah.
flip it up, and you're like,
Classic
what?
case of does he know, though? It really depends on does he
Does
know.
he know?
Does
Does
he
he
know?
know? I think if he knew, he would have probably
Probably
flipped
already
it by
did
now,
it, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
Before you commit.
I also really would have liked to play the Druisworm while you didn't have any monsters on your field, and that would prevent your opponent from interrupting you with Druisworm.
Yeah, I think might be getting a little bit flustered knowing that there's so little time on the clock now.
Good point, good point.
Still a decent way to go here. So the issue is that we can go into a Link 2, we can get access to Tracer, but it's going to be impossible to summon now because the Striker Dragon was negated and destroyed by the Baron, so I don't know how we're going to make a Synchro 8 even if we do get to Scarlight.
It's going to be tough, that's for sure. For a second, I was thinking, are you even allowed to flip summon non-dragon monsters while Pisty is on the field? But you are, it's only for special
It's not going to
summons.
be on the field forever, so...
Flip summon Baron. New
So-
tech.
Maybe he's just holding it for, like, maximum effect.
Yeah, I
What-
think Ludger was looking at Dark there, but Dark, of course, is not a card you can summon when there's Pisty on the field.
One other, like, kind of nice optimization maybe against the Vanquish Soul deck is to put your monsters, if you can, in columns where that are already taken, because the Soul Rasen can destroy monsters in its column, and there's lots of ways to summon a Soul Rasen during your opponent's turn. So that Baron de Fleur, maybe if it was in the middle monster zone.
Don't go for dark. Don't go for dark.
We can't make dark. We can't make Romulus. We can't make Seals.
You can make Romulus.
Yeah, he's Darklock, doesn't he?
Oh, you're right, actually.
We started with Tracer.
Oh no, we just passed back over.
Do we have to give the Baron back as well, maybe?
Oh no, he really did not know. But now he has to be quick. 30 seconds left. Lucas has to find a way to quickly do damage
here.
here.
Has to go to the battle phase. Omega comes back, gets a card back to the hand, put everything into attack mode, go to the battle phase.
There it
is.
is. That is damage.
Damage has been connected.
Woo. Lucas is happily taking the lead here in this game 3 after Ludger just did not know to flip that Baron back up. He didn't. He really did not. And now the negate is face up again, is live again as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be time for Lugia to come back into this game. There's so many things that Lucas
No, it's a
can
scoop
do.
there. There's a handshake. And